Hey guys, Jason here. So, as I'm titling this is a locksmith goes and buys fancy picks. As I've talked about before, I've done a video on the pick kit here, but in the beginning of that video, I semi-jokingly said, those were the main picks that I use all the time. The standard HPC triple rake, I don't know where I'm at the camera, and a 2 1/4 rigid. It's called the rigid twist. It's rigid and it's got a quarter twist on one end. So yeah, those are the main picks that I have always used for 24-ish odd years of my using picks, and just a standard hook. Which that one's blue. It's just an anodized aluminum, so it's just the standard HPC hook. And of course I got all the other ones in here, but mainly that's pretty much what I use when I am having to get into a house. I use the hook as the triple rake kind of as a hook as well. I'll usually rake and then come back in and manipulate. So anyway, I went and ordered a quote fancy pick set and some extra stuff. So I'm going to move this aside so we can focus on this. Now the case, this all that I'm about to show you, the pick set with 10 picks and 12 to 16 turning tools, was their price like $68, and then I ordered some comb top of the keyway bars, and it came with this case. Now this is I'll talk about the case real quick because I'm really big into cases. So first off, when I first got this and put the picks in there, you can see videos on this anywhere, but basically this pick set is designed to, it's called a competitor's case, and so basically it's designed to fold over like this, and then you can snap it in two positions so that it holds it, so that it makes it like into a tool stand, which is kind of cool for like a workbench or whatever. So these bars did not come with this pick set. Everything you see here now came in this pick set on the Sparrows Picks website in Canada. I ordered this Thursday. It got to me Tuesday afternoon, regular shipping, and which is amazing because we're in Mississippi and they're in Toronto, I think, Canada. So it had to go through Canada Post and then over to USPS, and actually Monday was President's Day and mail wasn't running. So it's kind of amazing that for standard shipping, this showed up in literally 2 or 3 days of shipping time with a Sunday and a holiday right back to back. I didn't expect this till the end of the week at least, and it showed up Tuesday. So I ordered this extra. Now I've never had top of the keyway type tools before. Again, I use bottom of the keyway and a rake. So I was like, okay, well I'm going to try this. Now I am going to get a Peterson Prod Bar, especially after receiving these. These are not really ideal in my opinion. Now they do have just the plain without these little comb picks on them, which these comb picks are designed for little cheapy padlocks. You go in, you supposedly can lift it up and turn it without having to pick it. Every so often I do run across those cheapy padlocks on storage sheds where people just want them off, and I figured, since I've never had a top of the keyway type tool, for those of you who are watching this that don't know anything about it, this goes in the top instead of in the bottom like that other one. And it's supposed to allow you to have more room to manipulate. So the main problem with these, and it probably had to be done for the comb pick part, was it's, I think, 32 thousandths, and there are other brands that use a thicker metal. So I'm going to order one of those too because this one kind of fell short. And the reason it falls short is because it's so loose. Being thin, it's really loose in regular, what I'm going to run up on type cylinders. You can see how wobbly it is. So that's not great at all. This is a Sargent, again, wobbly, and they're all the same thickness, so different depths of hooks. You can see there. So these are kind of novelty. Oh, and then lastly, which I probably would never use again because I've got dedicated tubular picks, but one of them has a pick that I think kind of works something like this. You're supposed to hook it there and like push it down so that you can do it, but this one is off for this cylinder, which is basically a Coke machine style cylinder, a vending machine. You know, maybe I need to watch some videos on this, but okay, there it goes. It's grabbing now. So yeah, you're supposed to do that and then push each individual. Well, the problem with that is obviously if it's recessed, there's no way that's going to work. So you kind of still need a tubular pick if you have to do that. So again, back to the picks, the case. I initially got this and put all these turn-in tools in these front pockets. These pockets are different tightnesses, and as some other people have reviewed this kit who are lock sport or lock picking type people instead of locksmiths, they have already pointed out that, you know, it's tighter on this side and then looser over here so you can just snag it out. These are a lot tighter pockets. These front pockets are loose, so you could use either of these three little pockets, which would hold about three each in there, so that you can just slip them out and slip them back in while it's sitting on the bench. So, you know, if I could add a non-rubber handle type pick in with that, make it 4. So, I mean, this case is a nice case. It does hold a lot, but it's still not really ideal, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I'll go back to the picks. So, again, standard. The only thing similar to the standard triple rake is this, what they call, I think, a best buster. It's very similar. So that one I'll probably use, and then we've got several different hooks here. Looks like 3 or 4 hooks of different sizes. Now, I'm talking about the handles. I do like those handles. They're pretty neat. Pretty rigid. Some people have talked about sanding these down some. That's a really sharp point there. That would get up, be very precise. So I do like that, even though I don't single pin pick a lot. But really what I got this for was mostly some of these rakes, some of these different rakes, like this one and this one, Bogotas or whatever they're called. So I've never used these. Locksmiths traditionally are pretty rough on picks because we have to, say for instance, after we have to open a doorknob like so, we always have to press the retainer, and I don't know if most locksmiths do what I do, but if you already have something in your hand, you're not going to use another object that you may have on your side or whatever to depress that retainer. Most likely you're going to take that and shove it in there and pop the retainer out. So probably not just me, but I'm sure other locksmiths can be kind of rough on picks because of that. Because if you push this in with the tip of your pick and push it off, it'll snap the tip off. So obviously with these I would have to be, I can't do that with those. So, you know, these are kind of novel to me. This city rake, I've never had one of those. Diamond, I've got those, and the hooks, the different types of hooks, just the detail. You know, when you need a hook from HPC, you've got this, and then you've got a deeper one. And here you've got 4 different types with different tips. So again, novelty, but it may come in handy if you run across a problem lock. The case, let's go back. One thing about cases and locksmith is we don't sit at a bench for the most part and pick locks. We are carrying this to a door, throwing it in a bag. Pretty big kit. I've got small hands, but it's about my hand size. This is a HPC Mini, or a Maxpedition Mini. It's pretty much the same size as it. But it is a very nice case. When I first loaded it up, I had them arranged differently than they are now. And see, they're kind of loose in there, even in the tight pockets. Well, after I put these in these front pockets, kind of like they show on their website, and then you close it, zip it up, and throw it in a bag and shake it around, and you know, do all that wherever this is going to end up. You go to open it, and you have that. So you end up having to stick all these back in there. Maybe I just hadn't found the right way to put these in, but to me, while the case is awesome, especially since you can buy it for about $13, which, by the way, when you're ordering from the US, the website will show the prices in Canadian dollars, and when you go to check out, when you use your credit card, it'll automatically convert it to US funds. So you never see it during the checkout process. So if you spend, and it's about 20% off right now, which is what the breakdown is on conversion from Canadian funds to US funds. It runs, if you take the total of your order and you deduct about 20%, that's what your total would be. So I think this was all $85-ish with shipping, $86, I think, and it knocked it down to about $65. And showed up in 3 or 4 days. So, you know, some of this needs to be heat flamed, keep it from fraying more. But it's always good to have a kit like this where you can put stuff. But unfortunately, in practical design, unless you're just going to leave this sitting on your bench and not moving in that folded open state, it is not great for mobile use. All right. Hey.